This has shocked even me, and I am not easily shocked when it comes to bad workplace behaviour. The BBC has done a huge investigation into sexual harassment and sexual assault allegations at McDonald's restaurants in the UK, and the stories are just awful. I'm going to show a screenshot in a minute that's going to detail some of those stories, so before I share those, just be aware that they're bad, so skip on past if this isn't for you. And the other thing to note is that they have spoken to over 100 people about their experiences, and these aren't experiences of the public mistreating employees. This is managers mistreating employees. This is other employees mistreating employees. We're talking about racial abuse. We're talking about sexually explicit images being sent. We're talking about managers suggesting that people trade sexual favors for things. This is horrific. Keep in mind who this is actually happening to. McDonald's says that the average age of their hourly paid employees is 20. And these young people are getting paid just at minimum or living wage. This is low-paid young people who are going through some of the most horrific stories I have seen as someone who sees these stories every day. Even since this investigation was published, more and more people are coming forward saying that this has happened to them. 200 people contacted a hotline after the story was published, talking about their own experiences. So what you have is a nationwide, from the looks of the investigation, sexual abuse and sexual assault culture targeting young people who cannot afford to do anything about it. So if this is you, or if this is someone you know, there are a few things I want to make sure that you know so that you can protect yourself or decide if you want to do something about this. First one is definitely contact that hotline, because I'm sure they are pulling together resources for everyone who has been affected by this. And the more numbers they get, the more understanding they get of how widespread this is, the more power they will have to try and force McDonald's to make a meaningful change, not just a PR change. Also, I just want to let you know about some of the rights that you have in this situation. I think we all know that it's wrong for someone to be doing these kinds of things, but let me label specifically, legally, what is wrong with it. So if someone is treating you differently and making you feel unwelcome because of your sex, that or race, that would be harassment on the basis of your sex or your race. If someone is approaching you in an unwanted sexual way, that is called sexual harassment. If someone is physically touching you in a sexual way that is unwanted, then that is actually a criminal matter, and that would qualify as potentially sexual assault. All of those things are incredibly wrong, and you have the right, and you should, raise a grievance to your employer about them. There are free template letters online to raise a grievance, but you can also just speak it to your manager. Make sure you write down when you raise it to your manager or whoever you raise it to, and make sure that you also write down everything that you can remember about each encounter that you have had. Write down the who, what, where, when. This counts as evidence. It is not a situation where if there's no CCTV, no witnesses, that you don't have anything that you can do. Your account of what happened to you counts as evidence. The most valuable thing that you can do in this kind of situation to be taken seriously is to have that who, what, where, when written down. Write it down in a timeline. You can use a Word doc, a Google doc. My platform has this functionality for free, but write it down somewhere, and when you complain, make sure that your employer knows that you have it all written down. It's also so important to remember that even if you did not complain about the sexual harassment while it was happening, that still counts as sexual harassment. You did not have to raise it as an issue then and there. You did not have to raise it as an issue later for it to still count as harassment. There are so many protections in place for people dealing with discrimination and harassment at work that often people just don't know about. My whole job here on this platform is to tell you about those rights, and I have lots of other videos that I can talk you through what options you have. In the meantime as well, we also have a free email that you can contact. It is hello@vala.uk, and you can get an idea of what services we offer We are a self-representation platform, so we help people who can't afford to go through the lawyer route. And finally, my final tip for all of you who might be affected by this is gang together. Club together. You are more powerful together than you are individually. So if this is happening to more of you and you can contact each other, do it. Raise a grievance together, raise an issue together, and you should have more power as a group to fight back against this. This is not your fault. Even if you said nothing about it after it happened, you never deserved for it to happen to you. And you do have options. I'm so sorry that this has happened to so many people. If people want support from us, please DM us, email us, and I'll be watching this closely for other resources that I can point people to, as it appears that hundreds, if not hundreds upon hundreds of people are going through this every day.